Nothing can prepare you for the craziness you're about to witness in this video clip. I want you to stop what you're doing and watch this entire video clip of these nuts talking about what they believe to be reality. It's only 3 minutes. Watch the whole thing all the way through. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to blow you away with the facts that nobody is talking about. I haven't seen a video on YouTube yet that makes this point. So check out the clip, come back, and then I'm going to blow your mind and end this entire argument on this topic once and for all.
I believe there's such thing as an illegal migrant.
Okay, so when it comes to legal immigration, downtown people are kidnapped and snatched away when they're walking to their court appearances with their lawyer. They are doing the proper steps to become citizens in our country, and they are being kidnapped on their way to their immigration court appearances and hearings. Have you seen those videos online? This is a regular occurrence in our city. So they are doing the proper steps. They are taking the proper steps to become citizens in our country, and then they are being kidnapped while doing so. That is a regular occurrence in our city. And also, the Supreme Court recently just made a decision where it's legal to discriminate against somebody if they look like they could be an immigrant, and then they are deporting and displacing people based off of looking like an immigrant. So if you're targeting people for the language they speak and the color of their skin and then deporting and displacing them over that, that is ethnic cleansing. That is what that is. That is not being dramatic. That is the definition. And then also, 1,200 people went missing from Alligator Alcatraz. No, their bodies are showing up on riverbanks and in swamps in Florida. So now we're murdering people. Oh, now we're starting to get a murky area where it's genocide. That is what genocide is. Those same people's bodies are washing up in swamps and on riverbanks in Florida.
You serious?
Why are you laughing at me? This is a serious matter.
So we got a lot to respond to here. First of all, we're kidnapping people on the street. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying these guys are doing, right? They're kidnapping people on the street that are going to, you said they're doing everything right to become a U.S. citizen. Did they come into the country the right way? Or are we putting that asterisk on it too? It's like, well, excluding jumping the border illegally or paying a drug cartel to bring you over here. Besides that part, they did it right,
Do you know
correct?
what the 14th Amendment is?
Okay, what does that have to do with the question that I just asked?
Because it's impossible to come into this country illegally.
It's impossible to come into this country illegally.
Okay. What? If you're look up the Constitution. What is the
Look up the Constitution.
The 14th
The
Amendment.
Constitution allows the rights of all the other rights so long as you step foot on American soil.
Yeah. You don't have to be a citizen to have the rights of the of our Constitution. It is if you are on U.S. soil.
You serious?
Still come into a country illegally. Continue.
You may have to be processed through the system once you arrive here, but there is no way to actually be considered
You don't believe
illegal.
there's such thing as an illegal migrant?
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
No. I do not believe illegal migrants exist.
And when you're trying to go through the process legally,
I'm standing.
This is incredible. Okay, well, I mean, we just
for like 20 minutes.
I did just.
You said the 14th Amendment. Okay, so they came in the right. So there is no federal law against coming in the United States by just jumping the border.
The Constitution outweighs any federal law that we have.
Most people who come into this country who are undocumented, as we are describing it, they fly into the country. They fly into the country and then
commit
they
a crime by
What about
overstaying
the,
the
No,
visa.
and
what about
then
the 10 million that came in illegally through the border underneath Biden?
Kids are still in cages at the border, whether Obama's in office, whether Biden's in office, whether Trump is in office. Palestinians are still being murdered, whether Kamala would have been president, whether Biden's president, whether Trump is president. I don't give a about like institutional Dems, like corporate Dems. I don't give a about them. I don't give a about fascist freaks on the right. Don't for a second think like, no.
Hysterical. I mean, this is just absolutely hysterical. All that wasted energy based on falsehoods. I mean, holy smokes. These people obviously don't understand the Constitution of the United States. They don't know immigration law. They just make up stuff or listen to things that are passed on or posted as memes on Facebook. It's probably where they get this nonsense from. And then they get all upset about it. Oh, man. This video would be like an hour long if I tried to debunk all of the absolute nonsense that you just heard coming out of the mouths of these Antifa protesters. But no, we're just going to focus on one thing. This whole belief that people in the United States here in this country are being inhumane for not having an open border. So I'm going to take this head on and crush this whole misnomer of a belief system once and for all. And we're going to dig into what the truth is about open borders. Now, first off, these people don't even understand what an open border means. So open borders usually refers to freedom of movement between specific countries. It does not mean universal access to a country. Even in regions with a relaxed border policy, citizenship and legal residency is still required to access health care, welfare, or even voting rights. So let's talk about some of the countries in the world and what they do. And this is developed nations. We're not talking about third world countries. They wouldn't be a good example because obviously things aren't working out so well in the third world countries if they have open border policies, which I'm not aware of any that do. We'll start with the Schengen area in the EU, the European Union. So they've got free movement for EU citizens. They can go in between all of the countries in the EU, but you got to be a citizen of one of those countries. Now, there are benefits. To get to access to the benefits, you got to have legal residency first. How about the Nordic Passport Union? Well, here you've got free movement among the Nordic countries alone, just those countries. And for accessing their benefits, it's just the same. You got to register and meet the residency rules first before you get a single free thin dime. How about Canada and the United States? Well, there's no open border, and we are very strict on immigration, as you know, hence this ridiculous discussion that you saw in the beginning video clip. Now, for accessing benefits, you're supposed to actually have the benefits tied to legal status. But of course, we know that there are those who think that you could be undocumented and you have some right just because you're a citizen in the world that we're supposed to pay for everybody on the entire globe. That's not in the law. Now, moving on, how about Australia and New Zealand? Well, they've got a reciprocal visa agreement, but that's just between the two countries. That's what it means, reciprocal. We'll let your folks come here as long as you let our folks go there. And for the benefits, if you want to dip into the benefits while you're going back and forth, you cannot do it without having permanent residency. How about the UK? And things are going absolutely crazy in the UK. We're just watching the UK just be torn down to mass chaos. It's so sad to see that happening. But would you believe that post-Brexit, they tightened up the immigration rules? Now, it's already been ruined. It was a little bit too late, but you still cannot get the benefits in the UK without legal status. So where are they getting all this from? I don't know. Now, I'm going to knock you upside the head with this one shocking fact. This ends it all. Here it is. No country on planet Earth, on this entire big blue ball, has unrestricted entry to all foreigners outside of their nation. No country on planet Earth gives immediate access to welfare, healthcare, or housing. You remember all of those illegals that they were putting up in those fine 5-star hotels in New York City because they claimed that it was the right thing to do? Well, there's no other country on earth that does such a ridiculous, absurd thing. Last but not least, there is no country on planet Earth that gives legal immunity from immigration enforcement. That's for all you folks who think that we're just being inhumane and breaking the law. It's funny how people think that ICE agents, when they arrest illegals, that they're breaking the law. I don't know where that comes from, but no country offers legal immunity from immigration enforcement. It doesn't exist. You've been brainwashed into thinking that it's a bad thing. You've been brainwashed into believing that there's some law that states ICE agents arresting illegals and deporting them is breaking the law. It's nonsense. It's completely madness. Complete madness. Even countries with the most generous asylum and refugee policies, like Germany or Sweden, well, guess what, guys? They still require application and vetting. They got to vet them first. They require proof of the actual persecution that they're under for their eligibility to even be under the asylum program. And there's a waiting period that kicks in. All right? You got to have the waiting period before you get benefits. So what's all the fuss? Can you make an argument against what is going on in the U.S.? And can you explain why that it just happens that right now under the Trump administration, for the first time in history, everyone thinks that it's a travesty and an outrage that we're deporting illegals who cross the border without abiding by immigration law? Do we have to reel back and listen to the words of Bill Slick Willie Clinton? Do we have to play the videos of Hillary Clinton?
So I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone.
Who gave a fiery speech talking about we should make these immigrants learn English or they can't stay here. And if they come over that border illegally, well, we should fine them and then deport them because they're breaking the law. Do we have to play the countless videos from Barack Hussein Obama?
A path that includes passing a background check and learning English and paying taxes and a penalty and getting in line behind it, everyone trying to come here the right way.
Who sounded more strict than Donald Trump himself in his first term and the second term regarding enforcement of the immigration laws.
We all agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Well, despite all these crazy statements that you heard by these brainwashed Antifa nuts that you saw in the Nick Shirley video clip, and I'll give you a link to the full video so you can watch it all. No developed country in the world allows anyone to just walk on in and claim benefits and demand benefits. Even the most liberal immigration systems require legal status, vetting, and registration. The United States is not uniquely strict. We're not the most strict in the world. It's actually more lenient here than it is in many of the European nations when it comes to enforcement. So where's all of this protest coming from? Where's all the outrage coming from? Post it in the comments below and explain it to me please give me a clue as to why we have all of this outrage based on everything that I just filled you in on and based on past presidents that I mentioned, including Hillary Clinton, who were speaking the same words that you hear coming out of the mouth of Donald Trump today. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Share it to social media and ask your friends and your family to react to this and get their insight. And then ask them if they knew about the shocking facts that I mentioned previously. I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are, but that's all I got to say for this one. This is Carlton, and I'm out.